Okay, so now we are ready to do the percent proportion. We watched that lovely video about the gorilla and how much food the gorilla eats. So now we're on page 121, chapter 2, lesson 3. We're going to skip this page 121 and go straight on to the next page. Use the percent proportion. What is the percent proportion? Everyone should be on page 122. Okay. What percent of 5 is 4? Okay, here we are wanting to find the percent. Now the proportion is part over whole. Let's write this over here. Write part over the total amount, or the whole, equals your percent over 100. So you put your percent over 100. Okay, you write your percent as a fraction is basically what you do. Okay. So we have 3 types of problems. This type, what percent? So right now we know we don't know this. This is our mystery, N. What percent of 5? 5 is the total, 4 is the part. Okay, 4 is part of 5. So you put part 4 over the total 5 equals N over 100. And then you would do cross products and solve. We're going to worry about that later. I just want you to know how to do the 3 types. The next type is find the part. What number is 80% of 5? Here's your percent. 5 is your total. So you have part over total of 5 equals 80 over 100. Do you see that? Good. Now on the next part, it says find the whole. 4 is 80% of what number? 4 is the part, 80 is your percent. This is your whole, total of your whole. What number? So 4 over W equals 80 over 100. Now in a percent proportion, one ratio or fraction compares part of a quantity to the whole quantity. The other ratio is the equivalent percent written as a fraction with a denominator of 100. Excuse me. So we've already written this down over here. Let's look at example 1. What percent of 15 is 9? Okay, let's write this over here. Set it up like this. I always do this first. What do I have? I don't know my percent. So I'm going to put, that's the mystery, N over 100. 15 is my total, or the whole, and 9 is the part. See how we set that up? Everyone should have that written in your book. Okay, now it's just solve it. You do your cross products. You would have 15 times N equals 9 times 100, which is 900, right? Now you divide both sides by 15. 900 divided by 15 will give you the answer 60. N equals 60. And it's a percent. What percent? So my final answer will be 60%. The only time you put a percent with the answer is when it asks for what percent. When it says that, then make sure you put a percent sign there. Any questions? Okay. Now, I want you to go ahead and do A and B. I've done them before, so I don't want you to see the answers. And then we'll go over the answers in just a little bit. Do A and B. Okay, so in problem A, part over total, or part over whole, percent over 100. Well, we don't know the percent, so it's N over 100. 20 is your part, 25 is your total or your whole. Cross multiply. 25N equals 20 times 100, which is 2,000. Divide both sides by 25. 2,000 divided by 25 is 80. It's a percent, so the answer is 80%. Make sure you put the percent symbol behind the number. In letter B, $12.75 is what percent of 50? Well, once again, we don't know the percent, so it's going to be n over 100. $12.75 is your part, 50 is the whole. Cross multiply. 50 times n equals 12.75 times 100. That's 1,275. Divide them both by 50 and you get 25.5%. Why is it a percent? Because it asks for a percent. Any questions? Okay, let's go to page 123. It says here, what number is 40% of 120? Okay, so that's your part. Part over 120 equals your percent, 40 over 100. And when you're trying to figure out saying, is 120 the part or is 120 the whole or the total, just ask yourself that question and then it'll be easier to figure out. So let's continue. Cross multiply, divide by 100 and you get P equals 48. So 48 is 40% of 120. Now let's go on to C and D. Do you have a question? Not until we're done doing these problems. Okay, so I want you right now, let's show your work for letter C up here. And then below letter C, you should have room to do letter D. So do letter C and D, and then you can write your answers right there below it. So go ahead and set the problems up. There we go. So for letter C, you have 60 times 5 equals 100 times P. Divide both sides by 100, and then you get not a 30, but 3 equals P for letter C. Now, for letter D, 12% of 85 is what number? Okay. So on this one, it's a part again. So we don't know the part. We know the total is 85. And 12 is your percent. So 12 over 100. There we go. So 12 times 85 equals 100p. If you write it down like this, that's good. That way I can tell what your cross products are. Then divide, show dividing both sides by 100. And then with your calculator, 12 times 85 divided by 100. And that will give you your answer, which will be 10.2. I think it is 10.2. And that's the answer for letter D. Any questions? And that was how you do letter C. Now in example 3, we have the other one. 18 is 25% of what number? 18 is your part, 25 is your percent, and what number is your total or your whole? Whole or total. You can think of it either one of those terms. Okay, so now let's do E and F. So let's set up letter E, 40%. So here we go. You've got this. 40 over 100 of what number is 26? 26 is your part, so the 26 goes on top. Of what number is your whole? So we have 26 over W equals 40 over 100. Do your cross products. 40 times W equals 26 times 100. Now we have to solve for W, So now show divide, divide, divide by 40, divide by 40. And we've ran out of space. But in your calculator, if you take 26 times 100 divided by 40, you are going to get 65. So 65 is your whole. W equals 65. Okay? Now let's look at letter F. 84 is 75% of what number? This is your part, that's your percent, and what number is your whole? Okay? So, 84 over the whole equals 75 over 100. Any questions on how to set that up? Now do your cross products. 75 times W equals 84 times 100. Divide both sides by 75, and 84 times 100 divided by 75. Oh, let's turn this on. What was it again? 8,400 divided by 75 gives you 112. So the answer for the whole is 112, and that makes sense. 84 is 75% of what number? Well, you know it's got to be bigger than 84, and it is 112. Any questions? Okay, now we're going to take it up a notch where we're doing word problems. The average adult male western lowland gorilla, which is what we've watched the video on, eats about 33.5 pounds of fruit each day. How much food does the average adult male gorilla eat each day? Well, 33.5 over the whole equals 67 over 100. Cross multiply, divide, and you get 50. And this is the one when we watched the video at the beginning of class, this was the problem that they did. Now, I want you to do the guided practice, and then we'll go over how to do these in just a few minutes. So, this is how you would set up number one. What percent? These make me happy because when I set up my proportion, my percent goes over 100. We don't know it, so the n goes over the 100. Of 90 is 9. 90 is your total amount, or the whole, and 9 is the part of 90. Now, 9 is what percent of 90? So that's how you'll set that one up. 90 times n equals 9 times 100. If you just want to put down 900, that's okay. And then we have to show divide by 90, and n equals, when you do that problem there, 900 divided by 90 is 10. And it's a percent, so it's 10%. Any questions on that? Yes. Can you wait till I do 2 and 3 and then go? All right. Number 2. What number is 2% of 35? Set it up as your proportion. 2 is over 100. What number is 2? That's going to be a part, and 35 is your whole. So 35 is on the bottom, and we don't know our part. Okay? Now it's easy. Now write this down, then you can go to the bathroom. Okay? Get 2 and 3 written down. So you have 35 times 2 equals 100 times p. Then divide both sides by 100. And 35 times 2 is 70. And 70 divided by 100 is 0.7. So 0.7 equals our part. And that makes sense. 2% is going to be a tiny amount, right? So it's only 7/10 is 2% of 35. It's a little bitty amount. In number 3, 62 is 90.5% of what number? So this is the part, this is a percent, and this is the whole amount or the total. So 62 over W equals 90.5 over 100. See how I set that up? Now we cross multiply. 62 times 100 equals 90 5/10 times W. Now we divide both sides by 90.5. And when you multiply and then divide it by 90.5, you're going to get 68.5. 68.5 equals the whole amount. And it's going to, is it bigger than 62? Yes, it will be, because 90% of this is that. So, yep, always go back and double check to make sure your answer makes sense. Brand A cereal contains 10 cups of cereal. How many more cups of cereal are in brand B cereal? Okay, in this problem, we have 30% more cereal in brand A. How many more cups of cereal are in brand B? So that's going to be part over the total for that particular problem. So 30% more. So 30 over 100 equals contains brand A contains 10 cups. All right, so you're going to have 330 times 10 equals P times 100. Divide both sides by 100. And 300 divided by 100 is 3 equals your part. So the answer is 3. How many more cups? 3 cups is the answer for number 4. Now, what are we going to do for homework today? Your assignment. You're going to do page 125, all. Then on page 126, that one just looks, for today I just think we're going to do page 125. That'll be it. If you get finished, you can do some more problems, but I think page 125 is enough for today.